Good afternoon, my name is Kyle, and before I start I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which the 5 Griffith University campuses meet. The Yagarabal, the Yugara, the Turrbal, the Jagera, the Yugambeh and the Kumbamberi peoples. Today I will be looking at the course concept of colonisation. I will be doing this by using Daniel Boyd's artwork to illustrate this concept and the impact it's had on the Indigenous population of Australia. Colonisation holds massive implications for all those who undertake it. The traumas of colonisation that occurred was massacre, rape, starvation and the introduction to diseases. As well as this, colonisation is said to be the cause of high rates of violence in the Indigenous community, starting from a dispute in 1788 with the First Fleet. People's view on colonisation has changed over the years, with people realising the atrocities were committed, with countless attempts of apologies, most famously Prime Minister Kevin Rudd's. However, the general consensus is that the apology failed to fully address the nature of the wrong inflicted on Aboriginal Australians through the state and Commonwealth laws which allowed the forcible removal of Aboriginal children from their families.
Daniel Boyd is a popular Australian Indigenous artist whose work focuses on colonisation and its impacts on the Indigenous population. This first art piece is titled "We Call Them Pirates Out Here." This piece is a take on the landing of Captain Cook at Botany Bay, 1770, by Emmanuel Phillips Fox. This piece of artwork shows the true depiction of the landing of the First Fleet as savage pillagers, compared to the angels they are portrayed as in the original. This painting depicts the First Fleet as pirates, swapping the Union Jack with the skull and crossbones, and giving Captain Cook the infamous pirate's eye patch. This artwork is significant to the Indigenous people, as it gives a truer representation of the landing of the First Fleet for all to see, compared to through the glass lens in which we have been brought up to think. The second piece of art that shows the issues with colonisation is a series of artwork focusing on the colonial heroes, referencing them as Captain No-Beard, Sir No-Beard, and Governor No-Beard. The repeated No-Beard refers to the account of Captain Cook's landing in Australia, where it is said that Indigenous people thought that he and his men were actually women, due to their lack of facial hair. As well as this, it is in reference to the well-known pirate Blackbeard, relating back to the concept shown in "We Call Them Pirates Out Here," describing the First Fleet as pirates rather than as heroes. This series of art holds great significance in the representation of the First Fleet to the Indigenous people. This series of art gives a great insight into how the Indigenous people physically perceived the First Fleet, as well as how the First Fleet acted towards the Indigenous population. The final piece of art that will be looked at is titled "Fall and Expulsion." Similarly to the first piece, it is in reference to another art piece, but with a spin on it. The art piece in reference is "The Apotheosis of Captain Cook." In this piece, Daniel Boyd challenges the symbolic nature of the original painting, which worships Captain Cook, by referring to the biblical story of Adam and Eve being banished from paradise, which is symbolized by the inclusion of the parrot. The painting is tilted on its side to show Captain Cook falling from God's grace, and Fame's wings have been taken away from her, rendering her flightless. The parrot is a symbol of paradise, free from the previously mentioned No-Beard's possession. The significance of fall and expulsion to the Indigenous population is that it takes the hero status away from the First Fleet, due to the atrocities they committed during their years in Australia. It instead shows Captain Cook falling from grace, falling from the heavenly perch which he has been placed in. The negative impacts of colonisation are very often ignored by the general population, with the majority of people still not knowing the atrocities committed by the First Fleet. Daniel Boyd's artwork shows the reality of the landing of the First Fleet for the Indigenous people, and the negative view the Indigenous people have on the way Australia was colonised.
This video has covered the issues of colonisation in Australia, doing this through the medium of Daniel Boyd's artwork. From this video, as pre-service teachers, if there's one thing to take away, it's that however you choose to teach your students about Australian history, do not start at the landing of Captain Cook, as there is a rich history for thousands of years beforehand, which truly helped shape this beautiful country. Thank you, and have a good day.